Alrighty, it's time. Light Blue Italian Love. The supposed limited edition eau de toilette just launched by Dolce & Gabbana. Let me start this off by saying that this is an enthusiast's fragrance. Okay, should go without saying, anytime a fragrance like this, or most notably Light Blue Forever, is released, and it's being talked about being a super high impact grapefruit based fragrance, you have to approach something like that with the mindset of wanting something for maybe a bit of a challenge. You want something that's ultimately different, and you're not worried about pleasing every single person around you. Okay, and that's kind of the direction that these go, because I see this all the time. People are saying that they don't like it, and to be fair, this could be a bit challenging, I suppose, for some people who don't want a super authentic, zesty citrus fragrance. But when you take a look at the price point at retail, and even better at discounters, to me, this and Forever can compete with some of the higher end citrus niche products out there, some of the Xerjoffs and stuff. I'm not talking full on quality, but the uniqueness and the blend, they can rival that at this price point, and I think that's pretty cool. So if you're looking for something different, you want maybe a bit of a challenge, you want something out of the ordinary, you want a new designer release because all other designer releases smell the same, check this one out, and we'll get into it. So if you've smelled Light Blue Forever, okay, this one right here, the one that really kind of blew up the light blue line again, then Italian Love will be very familiar for you. Now, again, for me, Forever went over on me super well. Absolutely love this one from the rip. And the reason why is because it's a designer brand giving us a different new style of scent, right? You see it all the time. Designer fragrances all smell the same now. They're all releasing the same thing. Well, and the reason why they do that is because this one is probably not going to do so well sales-wise. You look at an overwhelming majority of the reviews coming from people who don't know too much about fragrances, even if they're in the community, they say it sucks. They say it smells like BO. And so that's kind of why designer brands don't do this. And so it also makes sense that Italian Love is going to be a limited production scent here, But it does open up with that grapefruit note. The difference with this one, though, is there's an addition of some other notes, most notably up the top being grapefruit. So it's this nice mix of grapefruit and then this kind of a sweetened, zesty bergamot as well. And it smells amazing. Really kind of takes the focus away from the grapefruit all the way through, like in Forever, and brings almost a little bit of a balance to that. It's still very zesty. It's almost kind of sugary in a way, very bright, very uplifting, fizzy, ozonic. I mean, the opening of this one is to die for if you're a fan of citrus. So you do get the ozonic notes in the violet leaf, just like in Forever. And so what that's going to do is the violet leaf will give off this impression of a watery note, or to some, maybe even an aquatic note, which would kind of make it fit in with the light blue lime. But then the ozonic notes start to come in, and it gives it this light, wispy, and airy type of smell. Very crisp, very cooling, refreshing, kind of like an ocean breeze, that type of feel. Is kind of what that one does. It lightens it up and makes it a bit fresher overall, and also kind of draws away from the overwhelming amount of citrus. There is green notes in here, so I'm just going down the note breakdown here. Green notes, it does have a little bit of a green feel, even though you may not think that. You may think it's a blue fragrance, judging by the look of the bottle, but it is not a blue fragrance. It is kind of green though, green, ozonic, watery, very citrusy, that sort of thing. Cashmerean would be up next. And you pick up on a little bit of it. Cashmerean, very popular aroma chemical that's being used heavily these days. Kind of gives off the impression of a like a light woody muskiness almost. It's used heavily in stuff like Dior Homme 2020, that sort of thing. You smell it there, and you get bits and pieces of it here. For the dry down, we've got vetiver, musk, gaiac wood, and patchouli. So of those notes, I get actually some of the vetiver and the patchouli in the far, far base, and the far, far dry down. And that's something that I don't get from Forever. Forever is very much citrus, grapefruit, all the way through, with a good amount of musk, violet leaf, ozonic notes, that sort of thing. But what I've loved so much about Italian Love, as I've been testing this one, is that you do pick up on some of those heavier notes, the patchouli, the vetiver, in the base. It gives it some variety. Now, there's the question of, is this redundant to forever? For a lot of people out there, yeah, absolutely it would be, right? You know, a lot of people aren't going to be cherry picking these little inconsistencies and these small differences between the two. You know, most people don't care. But again, if you're approaching this with the mindset of wanting a different, unique smelling summer fragrance that isn't light blue intense or Nautica Voyage or Nautica Blue or you know, any other popular summer fragrance, that's where you would dive into those differences. You would test them side by side, and you would make the conclusion for yourself. Oh, which one do you like better? You know, that's something that you could decide. Do you like the addition of bergamot, making it, you know, a little bit more of a balance? Or do you like the full-on rindy grapefruit of Forever? It's something that you can decide for yourself there once you start breaking them down and testing them. Because another thing is, you know, first spray, smelling it once and coming up with a conclusion isn't really an accurate way to do so. That's why, as a reviewer, I test things thoroughly, and I don't do a review right when I get the fragrance. I do a first impressions, because it really does take time to pick out those inconsistencies. And even in the first impressions, I was already starting to notice those, but even over time, as I've been testing it more, I've been able to pick up on the differences more. Just being that this one here, Italian Love, has almost a little bit more of a richness, a little bit more of a depth in the base, and it does kind of distract from the overwhelming grapefruit note like in Forever. And so I think in a lot of instances, Italian Love may go over better for a lot of you guys out there who didn't really care for Forever when you smelled that one. Now, my problem with this fragrance is I think to some it could be misleading because it really does seem like a light blue Forever flanker. I would bet money, okay, and this is, you know, just my thoughts, but I would bet that this is just a light blue Forever mod. So, of course, some of you may know this, some of you may not. When creating a fragrance, you get a bunch of different submissions back from the perfumers. You know, it's not like, oh, you just get one version and you choose it and then you smell something different and maybe you choose that or not. There will be a bunch of different modifications, different samples of the same DNA but tweaked differently with the addition of this note, with the retraction of this note, or whatever. And they're all going to smell similar, but there are those key differences. And that's why creating a fragrance could be so you know, challenging and so involved, and why it's so time consuming is because you have to analyze each one of these different mods in order to find your favorite. This is so similar in ways to Forever that I really do think it's just a light blue Forever mod, but instead of calling it a Forever flanker, they just put a different name on it and made it a limited edition. So I think that could have been approached differently. Could have been Light Blue Forever or Light Blue Forever EDT or Light Blue Forever Eau Fresh or Light Blue Forever Summer Edition, something along those lines. Italian Love doesn't make sense. They're just making a whole different fragrance line out of it when I didn't think there needed to be. And so a lot of the issues there with redundancy, it comes from that. You know, if it was a flanker, it would be a lot easier for people to tell that it would potentially be redundant. So just be aware that if you have Forever, very similar stuff here. You may need it, you may not. Most of you maybe don't. If you don't like Forever, you know, there's a chance that you would like this one because of the different approach with the grapefruit and bergamot combo, but still it's something you would want to test first, definitely. You know, one thing that I do love so much about this one is the opening is fantastic. It really gets my attention. It gets me hyped up, gets me ready for summer. Just love the citrus opening. But the dry down is also equally as good. Like, fragrances like this could peak at the opening and then just completely lose it in the dry down and become a flat, boring piece of nothingness. But this one does maintain this texture and this depth throughout the entirety of the scent. And same with Forever, to where if you're asking me now out of everything that's in the line, these two probably are a couple of their best. Light Blue Eau Intense, still a great one as well. Going to be probably the most mass-pleasing for sure. But in terms of uniqueness and quality and really trying to do something different and deliver on doing something out of the ordinary like everyone complains about, these two here out of the line, these are well above everything else. I'm talking better than Light Blue Sun, Swimming in Lipari, you know, all the other limited edition ones. Light Blue Love is Love. I'm missing a lot. You know, Italian Zest, all of those, 10 times better. So performance has been pretty good on my skin, even though it's an eau de toilette, still doing well, right around 6 hours, which for me, I can't complain given the citrus nature of this one. And also it's important to note that we're not into summer weather yet. This has been springtime testing and all that stuff. So I'm confident that with some summer heat on this one, it'll do better. Projection in the heat, I think, will be fantastic. Just in a normal room temperature wearing environment like right now, or on a mild spring day outside, projection's been just kind of in the middle, moderate, but once you get some heat on it, it's going to do very well. So all things considered, performance I can't complain about. Not a beast mode scent, but not terrible either. And also I want to slip this in and say that in summer, like I'm talking summer temperatures, Fahrenheit 80, 90, 100 degrees with a good amount of humidity. In temperatures like that, I think this one could become beast mode because remember, you know, heat really does amplify fragrance's projection. It opens it up, it helps it develop more. And this one is already so zesty and citric and sharp and kind of sweet off the top already that this could get cloying. It could get very, very loud and out of hand in the summertime. I just wanted to warn you guys, or I guess let you find out on your own because it may be more fun that way. Oh, I wore 40 sprays to the grocery store and about got kicked out. Yeah, seriously, this one could get strong in the summertime. I know Forever did for me, so it's going to be about the same thing here. Could potentially be beast mode with enough sprays when it's really hot outside. But again, normal wearing environment, normal wearing conditions with a normal amount of sprays, it's going to do decent. So that's kind of where I fall on this one. You know, this is where it gets tough being in a position like this because, you know, I feel like no matter how many times I stress, this is going to be different. This may not be for everyone. People still purchase it and they get upset that they don't like it. You need to do your due diligence here and understand that this is not your light blue, Eau Intense, your Dior Sauvage, Dylan Blue, Compliment God, almighty fragrance, right? This is different. This is the brand giving us what we want, a unique product. And so because of that, you got to be into citrus on a level that isn't super, super basic. Again, the way the citrus is done here, it reminds me of a niche fragrance. I mean, they're really stepping out and doing something different. So do your part, do your due diligence, and think this one through, sample it first, try a friend's bottle or something. But I do think to that note, you should try this one if you're after something different because it really is solid. Same with Forever. I think these are amazing fragrances. From a fragrance enthusiast standpoint, these have a lot going for them. I will provide a link to this one down below. The fact of the matter is, you're not going to get this one on discounters until summer is over probably. So if you're wanting to pick this one up and wear it for the summer, retail is going to be the only way to go. I don't think the retail price is a horrible ask for this one, all things considering. So I'll link it down below. Forever is on discounters now. I'll link this one down below as well if you just want to go with this one. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.